All right, we continue to keep our eye on the tropics over the next couple of days. Two areas of potential development and one active tropical storm in the Atlantic right now. So let's start with Tropical Storm Dexter. Now, this is a storm that's not really expected to gain much strength through the next couple of days. There's some really intense wind shear happening in the upper levels of the atmosphere that's really preventing this system from organizing any better than it is right now. So expected to maintain tropical storm status at least through Wednesday and then kind of drop down into a post-tropical storm, continuing a northeasterly push away from the eastern United States. So also not really expected to have any land impacts. Overall, this is really not a storm that we need to talk much about. But there are now two areas of potential development that the National Hurricane Center is watching. So let's talk about that first area of development. So I show you this just to show you there's this lingering stationary boundary hanging out in South Georgia and in northern Florida. This has been with us for a couple of days and in fact was kind of the reason that we had a low pressure system form and eventually become Tropical Storm Dexter. Because this stationary boundary is still in the area, it's expected to form another low pressure system kind of in the same region that Dexter formed, right off the South Carolina and Georgia coasts here. That low pressure system could potentially support some tropical development in the coming days. So because of this, the National Hurricane Center has highlighted this region just off the coast for potential development within the next couple of days. The good news is we're talking about relatively low chances of development over the next 2 days, but as we kind of progress through the next couple of days in the next week or so, we could be looking at a tropical depression. Overall, there's not a lot coming together to make this look like it's going to be a very strong storm, but again, we could be talking about a tropical depression. What that would mean for us here in central Georgia would maybe just mean some increased rain chances and maybe some gusty winds. That's about all we're talking about with that system. Turning towards the central Atlantic, we have another area of potential development. We've been watching this one since the weekend. What's basically happening here, a tropical wave is pushing off of the western coast of Africa into kind of this main development region of tropical activity. As we turn the corner into August, this area right here tends to support a lot of tropical development. So as this tropical wave heads further into the Atlantic, the idea here is that it could interact with some features that could help it develop further into a tropical system. This is a slow moving wave, so we're still at a 0% chance of development over the next 2 days, but it's a feature that we need to be watching over the next week because it could support some further development. So that's all we have going on in the tropics right now. Of course, make sure to stay updated with our 13 WMAZ team for the latest on the tropics.